vincitore del Leone d'Oro per il miglior partecipante alla mostra internazionale dell'Abra d'Ufficio è DAAR, Alessandro Petti e Sandi Hilal.
The project that we are showing here at the Venice Biennale is centered in one specific site that is called Borgorica, which is in Sicily, and is one of 8 towns that were built during the fascist regime. And we were interested in particular by the fact that at that time there was a specific agency that the regime created. It was called the Entity of Colonization of Sicilian Latifundium, with the clearly explicit function to colonize the Sicilian countryside. And the idea was, of course, the assumptions of the agency was that the Sicily was backward and underdeveloped and in need of modernization. So a tabula rasa for architects to actually show their kind of modernist architecture. 3 years ago, we stopped in Borgorica, and with the municipality we asked maybe for them or for all of us some uncomfortable questions regarding this difficult heritage, which is what we do with that, how we can reuse colonial fascist architecture for purposes that are different from the ones they were designed for. So here for the exhibitions at the Arsenale, we reproduce the facade of the entity of colonization of Sicilian Latifundium, and we use the facade horizontally, and we use it as a place for gathering people and asking these uncomfortable questions and trying to make sense of how it's possible today to think about transforming what was the entity of colonization of Sicilian Latifundium in an entity of decolonization.
I would like to departure from the name of our collective, which is DAAR. DAAR means home, and we actually co-founded more than 20 years ago. And when we returned back to Palestine, at that time we studied in Venice, and then we did our PhDs, returned back to Palestine. And somehow we found ourselves in a moment where 20 years ago the discussion around decolonization and architecture was really rare, with less differences, and we didn't find enough space in the public in order to be able to actually develop our ideas. And therefore we departed from our own house, we opened it up, we began to do lectures, we turned it into an institute of decolonization. In that sense, and this is why it's called in English Decolonizing Architecture, Art and Residency. And we began to host people and think for 10 years around the idea of what does decolonization mean. And of course, being in Palestine, the colonial Israeli military regime was in the face, so it was about architecture and how it can be understood within a resistant movement. And after 10 years, actually, we moved back to Europe. And the question turned into what does it mean to decolonize today in Europe? And without actually questioning that fascist facade, for us there is no way and no soil to return back to.